Ever wondered why some people seem to remain calm under pressure while others seem to fall apart? The answer might be Stoicism. Stoicism, a philosophy hailing from ancient Greece, has been practiced for centuries as a means of fostering mental resilience and stability. It advocates for the understanding and acceptance of the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. It teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. Stoicism is not merely a set of beliefs, but a way of life that encourages peace of mind and mental fortitude. But as with any philosophy, there are behaviors that can undermine its efficacy. Behaviors that, while common, can be harmful to our mental well-being and overall sense of self. Now let's delve into the 9 anti-Stoic habits that are not only common, but can also be detrimental to our mental health and overall well-being. First and foremost, reacting rather than responding is a major anti-Stoic habit. Now you might be wondering, what's the difference? Well, when you react, it's often an instantaneous knee-jerk reaction fueled by emotions. It's instinctive and, more often than not, lacks careful thought or consideration. On the other hand, responding is a different beast altogether. Responding requires you to pause, reflect, and then act. It's a thoughtful process that involves rational thinking and consideration of the larger picture. It's about making a conscious choice rather than letting your emotions take the wheel. Reacting can lead us down a path of regret, as we often act impulsively, driven by our immediate emotions. Responding, however, allows us to navigate situations more wisely, giving us control over our actions and their outcomes. So the next time you're faced with a difficult situation, take a moment to respond, rather than reacting immediately. The second anti-Stoic habit is seeking external validation. It's a common pitfall, a trap that's easy to fall into. We humans have this innate desire to be liked, to be appreciated, to feel that we belong. But when we start to depend on others for our sense of worth, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Why? Because people's opinions are fickle, they can change like the wind. And when they do, our self-esteem takes a hit. This is not the Stoic way. Stoicism teaches us to seek validation from within. It encourages us to be our own judges, to assess our worth based on our own values, not those of others. It's about finding satisfaction in our actions, in our choices, in the integrity of our character. So stop looking outside for approval. Start looking within. Embrace self-validation. Remember, your worth is not determined by others, but by yourself. The third anti-Stoic habit is avoiding discomfort. You might say, why would anyone seek discomfort? But let's shift the perspective a bit. Imagine you're a goldsmith. To refine gold, you need to subject it to intense heat. This process, though uncomfortable for the gold, is necessary for its transformation into a precious metal. Similarly, we humans often need to face discomfort to evolve, to grow. Discomfort, whether it's physical, emotional, or intellectual, challenges us, pushes our boundaries. It's the catalyst for our metamorphosis. Stoics understood this concept well. They didn't run away from discomfort. Instead, they embraced it. They saw it as a tool for personal development, a stepping stone to becoming a better version of themselves. So just as the goldsmith doesn't avoid the fire, we shouldn't avoid discomfort. It's not something to dread or fear, it's an integral part of our journey, so don't shy away from discomfort. Embrace it as an opportunity for growth. The fourth anti-Stoic habit is focusing on the negative. It's all too easy to fall into the trap of negativity. When we constantly dwell on the negative aspects of life, we invite stress and anxiety into our lives. Our minds become a breeding ground for worry and fear, robbing us of our peace and serenity. This, my friends, is not the Stoic way. Stoics choose to focus on the positive. They understand that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our perception of these events. And this perception is something we have control over. They also understand the importance of focusing on what is within their control. They don't waste energy fretting over the uncontrollable elements of life. Instead, they channel their energy towards positive action. So try to focus on the positive and what you can control, rather than the negative and uncontrollable. This shift in mindset can make a world of difference in your quest for a more stoic way of life. Finally, we have living in the past or future, comparing yourself to others, being overly emotional, not accepting reality, and being too attached. Firstly, living in the past or future is a common trap. It's like being caught in a time machine, constantly traveling back to relive past glories or failures, or jumping ahead to imagine future scenarios. This is the antithesis of the Stoic philosophy, which urges us to live in the present. Constantly revisiting the past or obsessing about the future robs us of the joy of the present moment. It creates unnecessary stress and anxiety and prevents us from truly engaging with the world around us. Next, we have the habit of comparing ourselves to others. This is a game where there are no winners. There will always be someone smarter, richer, or more successful. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own journey and progress, rather than measuring ourselves against others. When we compare, we invite discontent and unhappiness into our lives. We belittle our own achievements and neglect to appreciate our unique qualities and strengths. Then we have being overly emotional. Emotions are part and parcel of the human experience, but allowing them to dictate our actions and decisions is not healthy. Stoicism encourages us to take a step back, to observe our emotions without being controlled by them. Overly emotional reactions can cloud our judgment and lead to poor decisions. They can also amplify stress and create a sense of helplessness. Not accepting reality is another habit that goes against the grain of Stoicism. Stoics believe in seeing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Denying or resisting reality only leads to frustration and disappointment. We cannot control everything that happens in our lives, but we can control how we respond. Accepting reality, no matter how harsh it may be, allows us to make the best of our circumstances and find peace within ourselves. Lastly, we have being overly attached. This could be attachment to people, possessions, or even ideas. Stoicism teaches us that everything is temporary. Clinging too tightly to anything can lead to suffering when it inevitably changes or disappears. Being overly attached can make us fearful of loss, preventing us from fully appreciating and enjoying what we have. Remember, the key to overcoming these habits is awareness and practice. It's about recognizing these patterns in our thought and behavior and consciously choosing to shift our mindset. It's about embracing the principles of Stoicism to lead a more balanced, contented, and resilient life. It won't happen overnight, but with persistence and patience, we can gradually eliminate these anti-Stoic habits from our lives. Remember, the key to overcoming these habits is awareness and practice. In conclusion, Stoicism is about maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. We've journeyed through 9 anti-Stoic behaviors that can rob us of this tranquility. Reacting without thought, seeking external approval, shying away from discomfort, dwelling on the negative, living in the past or future, comparing ourselves to others, being overly emotional, refusing to accept reality, and forming excessive attachments. These habits may seem trivial, but they can have profound impacts on our mental health and overall well-being. The antidote lies in the practice of Stoicism, a philosophy that champions responding over reacting, seeking internal validation, embracing discomfort, focusing on the positive, living in the present, accepting ourselves, managing our emotions, accepting reality, and maintaining healthy detachments. Stoicism can be our guide to a life of serenity and contentment. It's about recognizing our control over our thoughts and responses, and using this power to cultivate inner peace. So, start today, identify and eliminate these anti-Stoic habits, and embrace the Stoic philosophy for a happier and more fulfilling life.